All right, hi, welcome to my house. So today's problem string, we're going to be looking at place value and some patterns that we see, how we can use that to help us understand and solve addition and subtraction with decimals. Although we're just going to be focusing on addition today. All right, so looking at this, I have some problems already solved here. Take a moment. What do you see? What patterns do you see? So I'm first up here, I'm taking 300 and I'm multiplying it by 10 2 times. Here I'm taking 300 and I'm dividing it by 10, 3 times? Or wait, 4 times. So 3 times here, 4 times there. What do you see? What do you notice? All right, well, hopefully you see that digit 3 is in all of them. And it just depends on what has happened for it to be placed somewhere and to be given value. So here the 3 is in the thousands, so it has a value of 3,000. Here the 3 is in the hundredths, so its value now is 300ths. And how did we get there? Well, it depends on what we're doing to numbers. We're multiplying or dividing by 10. So it's just this idea of how do we play with numbers? How do we play with this idea of 10 to help us understand things? How do we play with 10 and the idea of place value to understand our answers for decimals, okay? So we're going to be trying to look at some patterns and understand what's happening there. So let's see what's going on. First up is, see if I make sure I got this right, 250 plus 250. What's the answer there? All right, so nothing fancy here. It's just 250 doubled. So we should know that that is equal to 500. Let's look at the next one. 25 plus 25. Again, nothing too fancy here right now. I have to move my computer a little bit. There we go. That's going to give us 50. Let's look at the next one. 2 and 5 hundredths plus 2 and 5 hundredths. Okay, so 5. And last but not least, 250 thousandths plus 250 thousandths. All right. 500 thousandths, 50 hundredths, or 5 tenths, whatever you want to call it. So let's take a moment. What do we see here? What do you notice? What do you notice? Well, hopefully you notice a few things. Number one, in each of them, we have kind of the same digits are happening here. So we have 25 hundredths here. We have 25 ones here. We have 25 tenths here. We have 25 hundredths here. Our answer has something to do with 5. 550, 5, 50 hundredths, 500 thousandths. We could think of this in terms of 5. So if I think of 500, what is 500 in terms of 5? It's 5 times 100. What about the idea of 50 in terms of 5? That's 5 times 10. What about 5 in the terms of 5? 5 times 1. And finally, what about 5 hundredths? Well, that's 5. We could do it one of two different ways, couldn't we? We could do times 1/10. And that gets us there. We could do 500. I don't want to do it that way. I could do 5 divided by 10 as well. Both 5 times 1/10 and 5 divided by 10 will give us the same thing. All right, so in each of these is this idea of a 5 being moved around depending on what's going on with our place values here. And in each one we have 25 something, adding it together twice. Okay. All right, let's see what's next. Let's try and use that information to solve this problem. Well, let's zoom back in so you don't see the next step. Oh, you probably already did. All right, so hopefully you thought about doing give and take. Right, I can change this to, I'm gonna take 300, so I'm gonna give it here to make this 2500s plus 2500s, which we've already solved and gives us 50 hundredths, 5/10. All right, what's next? 750 hundredths plus 750 hundredths. All right, so again, this is one of those doubling things. So I should know this double of 70. I should be able to figure out the double of 75, which is 150. And I should be able to use that information to help me think about this when it comes to place value. If I have 750 thousandths plus 750 thousandths, or 75 hundredths plus 75 hundredths, that's going to give me 150 hundredths. Well, how on earth do I write 150 hundredths? Well, I write it like this: 1 and 50 hundredths. Let's see what's next. What about 7 and 500 thousandths plus 7 and 500 thousandths? So we're moving, right? We're moving. Our last one was 1 and 500 thousandths. Those numbers are shifting because our add-ins shifted, so that's going to just give me 15. 7.5 plus 7.5 equals 15. Let's see what's next. We have 75 plus 75. All right, 150. Again, when we start to think about this, the reason we want to look at this is that maybe you look at 75 plus 75, you're like, that's 150. And this is the same thing. Where was I? There it is. It's the same thing. 7, it's the same thing. It's just we start to get really stressed out and freaked out when we start thinking about decimals. But this is really just 75 plus 75. We just have to understand where the place value are, where are the digits in the number, and what does that mean for our answer. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. $750 plus $750. $1,500. Again, everything, if we want to think of this in terms of what, 15? Our answer is in terms of 15. This is what? 15 divided by 10. But this is kind of cool here. So 15, remember, fractions are unfinished division. So I have 15 divided by 10. And that's the same thing as 150 100ths. They're equal. Because look, 15 times 10 is 150. 10 times 10 is 100. So all of this stuff, I mean, numbers are incredible. Numbers are awesome. Math is amazing. Just, get on board. Get on board with it. Should have done things different colors. 15. That equals 15 times what? 150. That equals 15 times 10. 1,500 equals 15 times 100. All right, so at this point, you've finished the problem string. It's time to click on maybe on that direction, maybe over there, the little circle with the check mark on it so you can fill out the form and show what you know. Bye.